All right, welcome back to Strength Circuit with Josh. If you are new, welcome here. If you're returning, welcome back. So today we have a bit of a functional fitness workout for you. We're going to do, so it won't be quite so high intensity. There's no time on anything. That doesn't mean it's going to be easy. We've got a lot of exercises that might be quite new to you. They're just tweaks of kind of your classic exercises, but just tweaked in a little way so that your focus has to be on doing all the movements correctly. So we're not just banging out reps here, we're doing things properly and really working those muscles that sometimes get a little bit overlooked or they get hidden by using other muscles instead. So we are going to start with a warm-up and then we'll get to it. So if you aren't quite limber, let's just do a few jumping jacks, just get everything going. So we're gonna start with legs, and then we'll kind of transition to a little bit of upper body stuff, and finally we'll end with some abs and core stuff. So we're just warming up those shoulders, warming up those legs. Let's do some high knees, get those hip flexors, get those glutes going. So this is what is called a dynamic warm-up. So you're moving, getting those muscles moving before going into anything really intense. Let's do some butt kicks, get those quads engaged. So at one point during this workout, we're going to use some weights. I've got just the lightest weights we have here in the gym. They're 5-pounders. So if you have something around like cans of soup, maybe some water bottles filled with water, some shampoo and conditioner bottles. It doesn't have to be heavy, just something of relatively equal weight that we're going to use a little bit for our shoulders, just as a little bit of resistance. All right, so that's the end of our dynamic warm-up. Now what I'm going to do, because we're going to use our hips quite a bit today, we're going to warm up our hips. So we're just going to do some very gentle pelvic tilts. So starting with your abs, like with your core like this, you see there's a slight curve to the back. We're just tilting forward, tilting at the hips and pressing forward, getting those hips warmed up. We're going to be using the glutes quite a bit today. We want to make sure our lower back is kind of warm. So a lot of the time today, we're going to be doing stuff to try to kind of get the pressure away from the lower back and hopefully into your glutes and hamstrings instead. So we're going to start with a squat progression. So now that we've got our hips kind of warmed up, rather than often we squat with our feet a bit wider than shoulder width apart, we're going to go feet directly below where the femurs enter the hips here. So it'll feel more narrow than normal. And what we're doing is a plie squat, which means you keep your chest upright as opposed to leaning over as you sit back. So it looks like this. So we'll start. I forgot the music. I'll get the music going and then we can go. Okay, so I'm going to be doing stuff kind of in time to the music. You don't have to, but we're going to be doing stuff in different speeds as well. So plie, narrow plie squat. So in this squat, your knees will probably go slightly past your toes. That's okay. We're just not going quite as deep as perhaps a normal squat. So keep your chest up, and you're going down and up. Ideally down 2 counts, 2, up, 2, down, 2, up, 2, down, 2, up, 2. So your weight is on your heels. You're sitting, keeping that chest upright as much as possible. I'll give you a bit of a side view. So when I say something in reference to a plie squat, it's with the chest up like this, whereas a squat, you're keeping your entire back in line as you go down. So plie is more upright. Keep those half-time ones going. So you're not locking the knees at the top, you're just keeping those soft knees, keeping the knees tracking in line, so you don't want to wobble your knees in or out. You want to keep them going right in line with your toes. And let's do 2 more, and then we'll go to single time. And 1 more, and single. Down, up, down, up. Keeping that back upright. So there's a slightly smaller movement. Remember, keep those legs in, keep those knees in. And let's pulse it. Here we go, double time. So just a small movement, and we're just pulsing near the bottom. You should start to feel in your quads here. Keep that back up, chest up. You should feel like you're almost falling backwards. And shake it out. Let's keep those legs where they are, and we're going to transition to those squats. So same foot placement, you're just bending over more, getting that hip back like you're sitting in a chair. So let's go back down to half time. Down, 2, up, 2. Again, knees tracking over the toes. And let's move to single time. Here we go. Down, up, down, up. Get back on those heels. Keeping those knees soft at the top. And we'll move to double time. Here we go. Double. Just pulse. Five, 4, 3, 2, 1, and shake it out. Woo! So that's the first set. We're going to do kind of similar to that. Again, with a different foot placement. So now we're going to do those plies and then the squats again. We're doing them narrow in what's called second position. So if you know anything about ballet, you might know that this is called second position. So again, your heels are right below where your legs meet your hips at a roughly 90-degree angle. So this is working the inner thighs more. So we're going to go in half time again. Plie, chest up. Here we go. 1, 2, 1, 2. So just like before, your knees should be tracking outward, same direction as the toes. So you should feel it a little more in your inner thighs. Keep that chest up. move to singles. Down, up. So here with no weights, we're working our muscle endurance primarily. And we have more squats to go yet, so. If you have to take a break briefly, that's okay. Just shake out those legs and get back into it. Sit back in that chair. And we'll pulse. Here we go. Pulse, 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 pulse. How many can we do? 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And stand up straight. Shake them out. Let's get right back into that second position. This time we're doing squats. So back comes forward. Bum back and out. We're going half time. So it feels a bit awkward. So just think about that movement. Think about the muscles being worked. After this, we're going to go into some calf raises. So if you have a chair or the edge of a desk that you could use as a stand, you might want to make that available. 2, down, 2, and ready to go to singles. Here we go. Up, down, up, down. Remember, we're hinging at the hips. This is a squat. And let's go double. Pulse it. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Shake it out. So if you have that desk, have that chair, grab it, make it available to you. We're going to warm up our calves with some calf raises. So we're going to go 2 at a time. So this is here just for support. You're not pushing yourself up or down. Okay, so calf raises. We're going to go half time here again. So up, up, down, down, up, up, down, down. Try to stay on the down position only momentarily before you're going back up. And ideally, you want to be pushing from the insides of your feet, primarily on your big toe and your index toe. Really squeeze it at the top. So try to avoid rolling over like this. You don't want to do that. You want to have the pressure on the inside of the foot. One, two, and we'll go to double time. And up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right, so now we're going back to that narrow plie. And what we're going to do is squat with our heels off the floor. So if you need to use this again, that's fine. So what we're doing is getting up in that up position, weight on the big toe, index toe, and then we're keeping our chest up and down, down, up, up, down, down, up, up. So if you fall down on your heels momentarily, that's fine. Just get back up. Keep reminding yourself to keep those heels up. Make sure you're standing at the top. So you're just using this as a guide, especially at the top position. It can be easy to fall down. single time. Down, up, down, up. Keep those heels off. And double it. Pulse it, pulse it. Stay on those toes. 4, 3, 2, 1. And go up. Let's rest those calves momentarily. We're going to do it again with the squat. So you're levering your back down this time, not keeping it quite so upright. Same position. And heels up and down. Down, up, up. This one's very easy to lose your balance. So it's no problem if you have to step aside for a second. Keeping those heels up. So we're working all those stabilizing muscles, making sure that the body stays upright. You can feel all those muscles around the knees just working, keeping the balance. And let's go a single time. Here we go. Down, up, down, up, down, up. Keeping those heels up. And let's finish with some doubles. Here we go. Pulse it. 3, 5, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and shake it out. Woo. Probably feeling in those calves. So we shouldn't need our chair again. At least not for a while. So I'll set it aside. We're going to end with just a couple in our legs, with just some lunges, just to hit 2 different muscles. So those squats, we're hitting our quads primarily, a little bit our glutes, and a lot in our calves. So these lunges are hitting the glutes again a little bit, also the hip flexors here. And then we'll hit our hamstrings a bit later. So we're just going to do static lunges. So I'll show you at a bit of an angle. I'm going to start with my left foot forward, right foot back. So right heel is off the ground here. And we're just going to go down and up, up. So it's a fairly small movement. Your knee doesn't have to touch, the back knee doesn't have to touch. And so if you have weights, you can use them here. We're going to do some bicep curls. Not a big weight, so you're just still thinking about squeezing that biceps at the top. Think about squeezing that back glute. Bring those arms to the side. So we're warming up our shoulders here a little bit for our upper body stuff. Think about keeping those shoulders down. Try not to tense them and bring them up. Now bring those arms in front. Keep those arms up. We're still just bicep curling. And up on the sides. Two more. And 1. Shake it out. Let's switch to the other side. Right foot front, left foot back, left heel off. And we'll just start with these again. Up. So again, your knees should be tracking straight over your toe. Your toes should be facing forward. Both the front toe and the back toe should be both facing exactly forward. And let's work those triceps a bit. So think about hinging at the elbow and squeeze that tricep at the back. And you don't need weights for this. I've got just little 5-pounders here. You can use whatever you've got available to you. Let's switch to running man. So you're hammer curling in the front, your tricep kickbacking in the back. So hammer curl, you've got a neutral grip, like you're drinking a can of soda. Hopefully not too much soda. All right, let's switch to side raises. Get those shoulders warmed up. Again, keeping those shoulders down. Think about keeping those shoulder blades flat on your back. Try not to pinch around your spine. And let's do 2 more. All right, shake it out. We're done with the weights. And we're on to our upper body here. So if you have a wall, ideally with something fairly smooth, where you're not going to catch your shirt or anything, sit back straight against the wall, so straight up and down. What we're doing is putting our shoulders like this, so try to keep your shoulder blade flat on the wall. Think about extending your back wide, using those lats, and all we're doing is trying to keep our hands and our elbows and our forearms in contact with the wall at all times. We're just going up and down. It's like a shoulder press. So you should have points of contact on your upper back, the back of your head, and then pretty much from your elbow all the way to the back to your little fingers. Up, up, down, down, up, up. So we're not only working our shoulders going up and down, we're also pressing backwards into the wall to keep it in contact, which is why you're probably starting to feel it if you haven't already started feeling it. It seems strange to do shoulder presses with no weights, but I'm quite sure I'm feeling it, so hopefully you're feeling it. Do 4 more. And 3. And 2. And 1. Down. Down. Okay. Woo! Stretch it out a bit. Okay, I'm going to show you now a modified push-up. So I've done push-ups in a few of my workouts. Some people find that gives them a little bit too much lower back pain to be in the full push-up position. A way to combat that is to do them from your knees, obviously, but this is a different way of doing push-ups. So what you do is you get into a kind of a quadruped with your hips directly above your knees. Hands should be about shoulder width apart, right under your shoulders. And so what you're doing is you're hinging back and trying to keep that hip exactly above your knees the entire time. So you're not shifting forward at all, you're kind of going straight back. It's almost like you're doing a bow. So think about keeping those hips back. So if you can spiral your arms, like I'm doing here, my elbow is spiraling this way so that it's coming in rather than out. That's the ideal position to do it in. Keeping those hands, those arms tucked closer to your body. feel like a lot of work because you don't have the full weight of your body. But after a couple dozen of these, you'll definitely start to feel it, and in different places than you will a normal push-up. You won't feel it quite as much in your chest, probably. You'll probably feel it in your triceps like you're doing a military push-up. Do 2 more. And then we're going to move our hands slightly in front of our face. And we're going to continue. So it's going to hit it a little bit different. It's going to hit the upper chest a little more. Shoulders a little differently. So your lower back should feel fairly relaxed. You shouldn't be tense at all. It's just taking a lot of that pressure of that plank position that push-ups often do. And let's do 2 more. Last one. And stretch it out. This is called the shell stretch. So it's not the baby stretch. You're actively pulling that back away. Your abs away from the floor, stretching out that lower back. All right, got one more kind of upper body core, and then we'll transition into abs to finish up. Okay, so this is called a reverse plank. I'll just demonstrate it. You can do it either from just a bridge position, or you can do a pull-out plank. So most of the ways I see them, people have their hands facing under them. So you put them under your shoulders, and it's essentially just an upside-down plank. So you pull in using your core, using your glutes, pulling tight so that you're still in that one straight line from the top of your head down to your toes. You should feel it in your triceps, especially because we just worked them a bit with those push-ups. So feel it in your core. You should be actively engaging your core. And then in those, try to move the emphasis to the glutes. So if you're just tired of doing planks all the time, something slightly different will hit a little bit differently. And that's good for now. Grab some water, and then we'll get, if you have a mat, we'll be on the ground for most of the rest, doing some ab stuff. So today's workout, a little bit slower pace. Probably not going to be working up you're not going to be drenched at the end. If you want that kind of workout, check out our CMU page. You can find some of my other Tabatas or high intensity ones. All right, so we're going to start with butterfly abs. So they're just like crunches, except rather than having your feet planted, the soles of your feet are going to be together. Not everyone is as flexible as I am. I've got quite a flexible groin, so if you're up here, that's fine. So you want to be keeping a neutral spine. You don't want to be arching your back off of the ground in this one. So we're going to start with just half time. So you've got your hands behind your head. Fingers can be supporting the neck, so you're not pulling on your head. It's just there for support. So we're just going to do this. You want to keep your abs tight the entire time. And up, up, down, down. So try to keep the tops of the shoulders off the mat at all times. So you're never completely resting at the bottom. It's a fairly small movement, but it's a very controlled movement. So you're not using momentum at any point. So the butterfly position takes away some of that hip flexor action that tends to happen when you're doing crunches, just a standard crunch. How are we doing? Keep that cat core engaged. Let's go to single time. Here we go. Up, down, up, down. And in a moment we're going to add the obliques. So we're going to go to one side, to the center, other side, center. So we're just angling, leading with our elbow. Here we go. Right, down, center, down, left, center. Get those obliques. So you want to keep your hips should be flat on the ground at all points. The movement, the twist is coming above the waist. So you're working, actively working to keep those hips square to the ceiling. One more set, here we go. Right, center, left, center. Whoa! Stretch it out. Okay. I'm gonna get into a glute bridge series. So we're gonna start with just roll ups. So get you're getting into a standard bridge position. And what we're doing, rather than going straight up from here to the up position, we're rolling one vertebrae at a time is how I like to think about it. So you can have your hands out as a bit of support, but we're just starting. Getting all the way up, and then reversing the movement. So think about rolling as opposed to going straight up and down. Just barely touching down at the bottom, and then we'll go back up. So trying to get some articulation all the way through that lower back. Stop at the top. Roll it up. Here we are. Get set on your shoulders. Straight line. And we'll just pulse it. Pulse. Pulse. So here you should be trying to concentrate in using the glutes as opposed to the lower back. My lower back is fairly relaxed. I can feel it right here in my glutes. And maybe even a little bit into the hamstring. So lots of times your body will cheat and will use other muscles. So sometimes when you're working out, you have to actually actively think about what muscles should be getting used. So rather than using your lower back, think about using those glutes. And you'll actually teach your body to move in the correct way. Okay, drop it down slowly. We're gonna hit that a little bit more. We're gonna do some single leg. So cross one leg over. I'm crossing my right leg over. Left leg still planted. So the farther out my left leg is, the harder it will be because that's lengthening the lever. So I'm getting it whatever in a mid region. And we're doing the same thing. This time we're just lifting straight up and down. No roll, just straight up. So this is moving that stress a little bit more into this left hamstring here. So you should feel it in your glute and hamstring on the left side.
sides. Really think about squeezing out at the top. Last one. And switch sides. And here we go. Up, up, down, down. Four more. 3, 2. Last one. All right. We're going to go back into the abs now that we've given our abs a little bit of a break. So this is called a single leg dead bug, is what I like to call it. Let's switch maybe this way so you get a profile view. We're setting up in tabletop position, lower back in neutral. So ideally your hips or your knees are right above the hip. And we've got our legs pretty close together. So rather than doing the standard dead bug, what we're doing is one leg at a time. So what I'm doing is I'm actively engaging this leg and keeping it still while this one goes out. So I'm using my left hand here, right hand, I'm actually pushing on this leg, so I'm forcing my body to go against and stay in that position while my other leg is going in and out. So here we go. Again, if you're feeling this in your lower back, make it a smaller movement and you can go higher. This will take some of the stress off your lower back. Again, try not to go past tabletop when you're here. You're actively thinking about keeping that leg parallel to the ground, pushing against this knee here. That's just intensifying the movement. Try not to hold your breath. Every once in a while, check back to make sure you're still in tabletop. It's looking good. Do 2 more. And take a quick break. Set up in tabletop. Right hand, left hand over top, and here we go. Work that other side. Keeping that foot up. Need to take a break, that's fine. Actively thinking about pushing that knee against your hand. It's intensifying the movement. Do 3 more. 2, 1, and bring it in. Woo. So we're done all the hard stuff. We're just going to do one more exercise, just kind of as our cool down. So we're going back into that kind of butterfly. Sorry, this one's on our stomach. So we're prone. You can rest your forehead on your hands if you want, but we're back into that butterfly position. And what we're doing is we're actively pushing the soles of our feet together from the heel. Think about pushing in that heel. It's not a big movement. You probably can't see it at all. But what I'm doing is I'm pulsing. Pulsing as I'm pressing together with those. So you should feel it in your hamstrings and your glutes. use those hamstrings and glutes as press, 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 press. If you want to intensify the movement, you can bring your knees off the ground slightly, and that will make it slightly harder movement. So you'll probably feel it a little bit in your lower back. So think about using those hamstrings, those glutes, press together at the heel, release, press, release. A couple more here. Press, release, press, release. 3, 2, and 1. All right. I'll just stretch it out, and then we'll let you go. So you might not be sweating, but my legs are actually shaking from that last set. I can feel it in my glutes. I can definitely feel it in my calves from those squats earlier. So let's start like we have been. Left foot in front. Weight on the bent leg. Toe up. Drop that toe down. Pull it back. Feel that stretch in that calf in the back. Stand up a little taller, feel it in your hip flexor. We use those in those lunges. Drop it down a little bit. Really feel that. Legs together. Other side. Drop that toe. Slide it back. Stretch out that calf. Straighter. Drop that hip. Let's stretch out that glute. Pull it to your chest. Quad. Drop it down, other side. And try to keep the knees together. Let's just get the inner thighs a little bit. Go wide. Stretch it out, feel it where you want to feel it. Maybe go a bit deeper if you want. Other side. All right, let's get our arms. We didn't do a lot of arm stuff, but we got it going. So today is the last class before Christmas for Strength Circuit. We still have yoga and dance class coming up later this week. And you can also always look back on our YouTube page, CM_U, and you can get any of our latest ones from Carly or I. If you want to do anything over the Christmas break, check out one of the ones that we've already done. Hopefully we'll be back in person relatively soon in January. Hopefully you can join us then. But if you're running out of stuff to do over the holidays, you can also check out my personal YouTube page. Just search for Joshua Ewert, E-W-E-R-T, on YouTube. And you should see my picture pop up. I've got a couple dozen workouts there. Some have used a little bit of equipment like bands, loop bands, flat bands. There's other ones for that are all Tabatas. There's a couple boxing workouts there. If you really like that class and want to do more of that. There's some fusion stuff, which is a bit slower, a little bit more like today, where you're working consciously about hitting certain muscle groups. So you can check that out. Joshua Ewert on YouTube. If you want even more online workout ideas to do over the holidays. That's it for today. Hope to see you at some point back here. Keep it safe over the holidays, people. Thanks for joining.